Joining me today is someone who might just be the calmest person in any real estate storm, but don't let that fool you. Laura is relationship focused, fiercely loyal, and one of the best communicators on our team. She's a true gift for guiding clients through the emotional roller coaster of buying and selling a home, and somehow makes it all feel manageable, maybe even a little enjoyable. She's a proud Skippack local and friend to just about everyone she meets. She brings that same heart and energy to every transaction. Let's welcome my friend, Laura Pryor. Welcome to Know Your People. This is our series where you meet the people that are important to our team's success. Today, we're sitting down with Laura Pryor to hear her story, how she got started in the business, and some of her best tips for buyers and sellers. Laura, let's jump right in.
All right, I'm ready.
You're ready. All right, let's do it. Why don't we start with a little bit how you started in real estate. You were in sort of a real estate adjacent business. What piqued your interest about getting involved as an agent, and a little bit about how you got started in this wacky business of ours.
All right, so I think we have to go all the way back to when I was 18 years old. And
let's do it. Go back in time.
Graduated from high school, and I was going to Penn State Abington and living at home and working at Houlihan's. It's my very first serving job. And I told my mom I wanted to drop out of college and get my real estate license. And my mom pretended to be supportive, like, oh, that's great. But you'll have to live on your own and pay all your bills. So 18 years old, I wasn't ready to do that. So I kept going to college. I graduated from college, and I guess it just always stood there in the back of my mind. I bartended I had a job after college where I did events for a hotel. And then I had my oldest daughter, who's 15 now, got married, took a back seat to working, and did some odd jobs and bartended for, 20 years, a really long time. And then I got a work from home side gig that's full-time, part-time, like real estate, always working with a flexible schedule, where I kind of handled the back end of a luxury real estate photographer and marketer company. And then I was, just like, hey, maybe I'll try to sell houses too. So I took my real estate license. I did it all online because it was COVID. And I was also taking care of my mom. So I'd take care of the kids, I'd work, I'd take care of my mom, put everyone to bed, and then I would be up taking my classes until 3:00 in the morning, or until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And that is how I got interested in real estate.
Yeah, it's great, and it's put you on the right schedule for real estate. That could be you could be working any hour of the day. So
any hour of the day. And I learned, and I think a lot of people think that real estate is really easy. Sometimes it's really easy. The real estate adjacent job that I had did, I don't want to say very little, because it helps me with marketing and listing properties, but it doesn't. And I guess you learn how to work with agents who can be big personalities, but it doesn't really translate, A to A.
Yeah. But I do think, do you agree? I think for you, we'll just give a shout out to Oscar at OM Media. They do a great job.
Thanks, Oscar.
Yeah. Thank you, Oscar. I do think a huge part of the business that you probably didn't realize while you were going through the training, and certainly when you're starting, but is one of your best traits as an agent, is dealing with the co-op agent. So you came into the business with that experience and knowing, hey, the personalities, and sometimes it might seem crazy, but other times, especially, it depends on the market. You could be dealing with a luxury client, which is a lot of Oscar's business, but you could be dealing with luxury clients that sometimes are just more demanding or have less time or less flexibility in their lives. Those agents tend to kind of carry that on. Sometimes agents are just a pain in the ass, because sometimes we're a pain in the ass. But I do think that skill set for you made you kind of take off like a rocket ship once you felt confident kind of going through the process a few times. Do you agree with that?
I would. Yeah. And then also there's this bit where this is something that takes a long time to learn, and it's a lot of personal inside work. So sometimes agents are difficult because their clients are difficult. I have had to be a difficult agent on the end as well. And you got to kind of separate yourself from your client and from a difficult agent. And yes,
Yeah.
I learned that a lot with working with Oscar. Because you got, luxury agents are a different beast sometimes because their expectations are a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, like today it's raining outside and they probably want everything rescheduled, and they want it rescheduled for the first day it's sunny and just like everyone else. And it doesn't matter that you already have a calendar full of shoots.
Yep. So true. You got to get there.
Yep.
They work long hours, the real estate photographers, and long days, weekends. I have lots of respect for them. Big time.
Yeah.
And then
huge piece of
and then they edit, they edit all their stuff or, pre-edit before sending it, and they're working. Just like I was taking my real estate license up until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Think back to like when you first started. So you came to our team, you and I were introduced through Devin. So we'll have Devin on here at some point, obviously. You had a lot of contacts in real estate. So that was helpful too. Do you think like, your first deal was family. So I know that. So do you think like you learned a lot on your first deal? Can you think back to your first deal, or maybe it was that second deal that wasn't somebody that you already knew and had a relationship with?
I think what I learned the most on my first deal is that you are going to work all the time. I remember sitting or standing in line at Hershey Park with my kids and being on a conference call with you, and it was my brother talking through things that came up with the inspections and what to do and your options as a seller. I think I learned more on the second one for sure. And I continue to learn. I think real estate is an industry where nothing is ever copy and paste, because every house is different and every client is different. And every client is different with the situation that they're in.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, do you like that about the business, that every day? I mean, it keeps it kind of fresh. It's like, it's almost like project work. Every client you're working with, whether they're buying or selling, it's a new project, and it's hot and heavy when it's going on, and you still have to maintain with them, let them know that you're there the whole time. You want them to be part of your lives and refer business and trust you and reach out when they need help. But there's certain points where it's like white hot in terms of the intensity that you need to give to a deal in terms of attention.
Oh yeah. I think I would die in an industry that you would have the same monotonous thing, like data entry or something, or every day you're doing the same thing. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't work from a desk. Yeah. I couldn't. Got to be out there. Everything has to be different. Stays exciting.
Yeah.
But I did enter the business as my kids got older and they needed less of me. And then it's time to get a job. It's time to work and do all the things. And it's still flexible enough because my husband's a police officer. So he has a very odd schedule and it has to kind of complement. So I don't know, a 9 to 5 probably wouldn't ever work for me because his shifts are different. If I rewind back to, the choices that I made to being where I am, yes, I had a lot of real estate contacts. I could actually, after I got my real estate license, I had people reach out to me about, joining their team and doing their things. I did interview with an agent before I even knew you were a person, or a real estate team before I talked to Devin, that I thought I was going, that was it. I was just going to go to that person, that office, but they did. And I'm not going to name names, they're calling me out. I highly respect this real estate agent. He's a phenomenal agent, great person. After meeting with them and their office and learning how they teach and how they run, that training part, I knew I would fall flat on my face. It was kind of like classroom in the beginning, and I need a lot of mentoring, a lot of handholding, a lot of one-on-one phone calls, especially as I get comfortable in doing something that I do. So that is how I ended up on your team and how I will die on your team.
Oh, we're forever grateful for that. So just let me know. I'll send you a Venmo for that statement. I do think that's a good point. I mean, we're bouncing around a little bit, but I do think that's a good point. Like for agents, any agents that are listening, when you start, we all learn differently. I think you and I are very similar. It's like we got to kind of go out and kill the bear together and talk through it, like task training almost. Like, hey, we're in the middle of doing it, and now before we call the client, let's hop on a phone call and talk through as many hypotheticals as possible, and then you go call the client, and I'll be on the call if you want to. But I feel like that sticks more as you're going through the process. At least in my experience, I felt like most of the agents that have joined our team and been on our team for a while, that those are the agents where just, I mean, no matter how much you produce, I always feel like the ones who are producing the most, we're talking to the most or talking to the most often. But every time something new comes up every time. So having resources to kind of bounce things off of each other is great. And it doesn't necessarily have to be me.
Oh, for sure. I call Iris. I've called John. I've called actually probably everybody on the team for something. Yeah. So it's nice to have them always.
Yeah. So when you think back to like the first, we had your first couple transactions, we had a couple doozies early on for you, which was great. A little trial by fire. Think about like a little bit, talk a little bit about like how your business has changed from maybe that first year, 18 months to now, and some of the things that are sort of important to you that you're leaning into more than maybe even kind of new at the beginning.
How it's changed. Well, it definitely got a lot busier. When you start in real estate, or at least when I started in real estate, I was bartending too. I don't know if I mentioned that. Still at the same time, I think I held that job for a year. Doing both was difficult because, well, actually I only worked 1 day a week. The only difficult part of it was that everything would happen when I would be going to work, and you got to answer the phone. Like, what's more important, right? Your customers at the bar, your guests at the bar, or your deal that's falling apart. And I actually remember a deal that was falling apart. I had to call out of work that night because I was like sick, right? Stressed out, super sick. It's in the stomach, in the gut, and you're like, oh my God, everything's failing. Not for me personally. Like, yes, we're here to make money, but it's not the paycheck that really drives me. It's the I don't know, the relationships and the getting to the finish line and helping people out. The money's nice, but I wouldn't do it for free, but it's not going to be the end of the world. But anyway, calling out of work and then realizing that I couldn't do both successfully. And my business changed that way. My business changed when I started to put, all of my time into real estate and social media, changing my story as, I don't know, what was it, bartender, yoga person, mom, to now adding real estate and scaling back and giving tips and tricks and stuff. And I don't know, I got good clients that way, and shareable information, I guess, sharing the information, getting clients that way, and people taking me a little more seriously as Laura Pryor, realtor, as opposed to Laura Pryor, the best bartender ever at PJ Williams. Number one.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's great. And I do think there's carryover. You know this, but there's a lot of people on our team that have that bartending background, that sort of that customer service background. That's a, you and I've talked about this a lot. That's a big carryover to our industry. You want to make sure somebody has a good time and enjoys what is a stressful process for a lot of people. Like we take that on. And I feel like your best, servers in restaurants, bartenders, I think they do that as well. Right? If there's a mistake in the back of the house, they're not throwing the chef under the bus or one of the line cooks. They're just owning it and just,
it's problem solving. No matter what industry you're in and doing, there's always going to be a problem, and it's just solving them.
That's it. Yeah, it's that simple. Everybody can do
keeping
this.
everybody calm, happy, and crossing that finish line.
Yeah. When you touched on, listen, the money's great. We all need money. We all have jobs and careers and expenses, and you have 2 kids and I have 2 kids, and they take up a lot of money. When you think about that, you talked about how helping people's really, feels great. It's one of the cool things about this job is you're involved in people's lives. Sometimes when they're at like an emotional thing, it's a new baby. We're taking care of an elderly or sick parent. We're going through a messy divorce. Like, we're really involved, at these high emotion points, and it's also a lot of money, and it's also their shelter. Like, to me, I always feel like for you are those kind of tougher transactions? Are those your favorite? Do you have like if I said, what's your favorite kind of transaction or client to work with? Do you have one of those? I know you don't want to probably name names or say
No,
your
never.
favorite client ever, but like, do you have
I
something in that
love all of
regard?
my clients. I love them all. Even when I don't love them, I love them. And I love being in a transaction with a client because you're like best friends for however long it takes. And then it is
Yeah.
sad when they successfully sell the house or buy the house because you don't hear from them every day anymore. And it like it is just it's very quick. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. At least with me, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. You're in this brand new relationship, and you guys are like hot and heavy for months, and then all of a sudden you get it, and then it's sad. But it's a good sad because it means that they're happy and doing well. Is there a transaction I like more than the next? I think they all balance each other out because if they were, I love a difficult transaction. I love a lot of emotion. I love a divorce. I love um, I don't know how to say this, and I love a death. I love grief because I can relate to that, and the change. I love a new baby because I can relate to that. I moved into my house when I was like 9 months pregnant. First time
Yeah.
home buyer who
Yeah.
has very little money because I was that first time home buyer who had very little money to put down and buy a house. I think
Yeah.
they all balance each other out. So I'm going to answer your question by not answering it and say
It's a perfect answer. It's a perfect answer.
I love them all.
You are, we talk about on the team a lot, you are of service to the client. So like wherever they're at, you're meeting them there. And if it's a highlight emotionally and for their family, you're there. And if it's a tough time, you're there. I think that, it's one of my favorite things about you as an agent. You know, to quote a coach that I once talked to, you just give a shit, right? Like you really care about the clients, you're involved, and you're really like there for them no matter where they're at in their life, which is awesome.
True. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is awesome.
It's
Yeah,
all
we talked about a couple different kinds of clients. Tell me a little bit about buyers. Like a lot of times on here, we like to talk about if you have maybe like your 3 best tips, or what's a couple things that you would say. You're meeting a new buyer this afternoon, and they're saying, "Hey, how the hell do we get started? What's kind of your go-to stuff that
I've
you're
been
telling
thinking
them?"
about this since you um, had the one with Anthony last week, and I'm like, now none of
Yeah,
my answers are going to sound original, but they will.
yeah,
So
yeah,
my number one tip for working with buyers is before you go out and seriously look at homes, look at 1-2 homes with an agent that you choose, whether you're interviewing it or taking a referral from someone who bought in your family, whatever. Get a pre-approval from a lender, a local mortgage broker of your choice that you jive with. Maybe get 2, pre-approvals and shop around. Some might have a different offering or a different program. You are dealing with, and I know most people, the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make in your entire life. So you need to understand the financial picture. A real estate agent is not a mortgage broker. You can sit here and tell me all day that you make X amount of money and you want to buy a house in this range and you have this much monthly budget to pay for. And I love hearing it, but none of it matters until you have a pre-approval from a lender, because at the end of the day, the financial institution is going to tell you how much you can afford. There's much more that goes
amen.
into the back. So what do you say? You're doing step 2 before step 1 if you're actively shopping for houses. And then if in this market, particularly if you fall in love with a house and you don't have your ducks in a row with your lender, and it takes, I don't know, 2 weeks to get a surprise thing you didn't know was on your credit, off your credit, to pay a bill you didn't know was in collections, or what have you, whatever it may be, you have lost the house that you thought you were going to buy and love because you don't have that piece of paper from the financial institution. So that's number 1. I agree, you should interview with agents, see who you jive with, because someone might love Bob Kelly, but someone might hate Laura Pryor, or vice versa. We all are humans and we all have different personalities.
Yep.
I also think it does a great service if you're moving to an area you don't really know, to spend time independently in that area. Like go out to dinner. If you're moving from Philly to Collegeville, go to Collegeville for a weekend, go out to dinner, hang around after, school in the neighborhood you're looking at, see if you're looking for neighborhoods with kids, see if there's kids there. If you're looking for a neighborhood without kids, see if there are no kids there. because a real estate agent, while we do know the areas and we know, you know, a lot of stuff, there's some stuff we can't do. I don't know if, you know, you're going to love a neighborhood or not, because that's your stuff.
And it's, yeah. And I think, not to cut you off, but I do think that, like, I always tell my buyers, let's be picky. It's your money. So
Sure.
you're going to live here. I'm not going to live here. Let's be picky, and whatever's important to them. And sometimes we have clients who are like super forthright and like, hey, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Oh, the guy's got a boat in the driveway next door. Forget about it. Other people, that they don't care at all. They're coming and going to work, and, you know, I'm traveling when I'm not at home, and I don't really care about the neighborhood. Okay, great. So I think that's great advice.
And you can change your walls, you can change your floors, you can change your bathroom fixtures. You just literally can't change the house in the like the geographic area. You can't, if you move into a neighborhood with people you don't want to live with, you're stuck. You can't do that.
You have the luxury of doing a lot of business over the last few years since you got started, and your business has grown, and all that means we've had great deals. We've had other deals that have been more challenging. Is there one mistake that you see buyers make more often than not, or one pitfall you would tell them to avoid?
Yes. Don't go shopping without a pre-approval. Yeah. That's it.
Go back to step one.
Yeah, back to step one. That really understanding the financial picture, honestly. It's big. And also, don't wait. That's another big thing. You know, you have Uncle Tony at Thanksgiving telling you the rates are going to drop, and he bought his house in 1995, and, you know, all the things are going to happen. Well, we've been sitting here now for 4 years, and as inventory comes back up a little bit, I don't know, 5 years, what year are we in? You know, we're still, at least the areas I work in, at a record low. Not a lot of houses to sell, lots of buyers that are looking. And if you wait forever, and this is life advice, just do it. Don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect, you know, scenario. If it's something you really want to do, it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Getting the house is the win for sure, while the inventory is low and the demand is high, especially in the suburban markets of Philadelphia. That's 100%. All right, we talked a lot about buyers. What about the flip side? What about sellers? Especially you have this background of knowing a lot more on the video marketing side, photography side, and therefore the social media side. As you started the business, you had a leg up on a lot of agents. What are some tips you give to sellers? Because most agents, takes them a long time to get comfortable with sellers. You had a really, really fast and quick, you know, transition to working with sellers when you started.
Sellers should always also interview multiple real estate agents if they don't know them, right? And also, you could know somebody and they're not the right agent. Don't just use someone because you know them, but make sure you know who you're working with, what they're going to do for you. You got a lot of agents out there who've been in the business for a very long time, who maybe just put it up in the MLS, have an open house, and that's the end of it. And then you might have an agent that's only been doing it for a year, but has that marketing knowledge and all the things, and they're really hungry, and they're just, you know, going to sell your house for a lot of money really quickly. Interviewing agents, not overpricing your house is big. So as real estate agents, we are advisors, but at the same time, your client is kind of the boss, right? So if someone is like, I want to list my house at $100,000 over, you know, what the actual value is, I like to say, that sounds great. I'll try any number for a little bit, but set the expectation that if it doesn't, you know, sell or get a bite in 2 weeks, we're going to drop it immediately to my number. So also listening as a seller to that expert in the industry that you are selling your house in. Zillow numbers are either really low or really high. They're never right. What your neighbor sold their house for might not be right either, because what does the inside look like? How old are the systems? When did they sell their house? Did they sell it in 2019? You know, or are they selling it now? So, and then you have to declutter. You're moving anyway, pack up your stuff, put it all in one room. The way your house presents is it. Like you're not gonna sell a house as quickly. You'll still sell it, especially in this market, full of things. And I don't know, declutter and clean. That's a big one for sure.
I like that too, because you're trying to mean, I know on the team we talk about this a lot of analogies, but like when you're a seller, we're trying to find a date, right? Like, so let's make ourselves look as good as we can, right? We can't, if you're a 500-year-old farmhouse, can't make yourself look like a condo, right? You can't do that. But the things you can do, within your budget, within your parameters, do those things so you can attract as many buyers as possible, and then that'll get the price up. Sorry, I stepped in.
No, I forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay. Oh, I got it. Yeah. Smells also. Like I have 2 dogs and a cat, and my cat's getting old, so she's doing the things that you don't want your old animals doing in your house. But if you're selling your house, you have to present it, I guess, so presentation as if you don't have 3 animals, 1 dying, living in your house, and making your house really available for showings, especially that first week.
Yeah. Bonus tips for sure. Let's talk a little bit more about pricing, because I think it's really important. We're recording this. It's 3rd week of February. It'll be out in a couple weeks, and we're starting already to see it with the spring market. Our team alone, just this month, we probably put up 7 or 8 listings. All of them are under contract, except for one that's like sort of a wonky commercial / business, and the other one is quite frankly a hair overpriced. I mean, talk a little bit about the pricing strategy. When you go in and you're talking to sellers, do you give them advice of like, here's a 1, 2, 3, this is what the data is doing. This, we could list it aspirational. We want to list it for a much higher price because we just think we're a nicer house than the Joneses who sold. Do you kind of walk through it like that? Do you just listen to what they say? How do you handle that conversation with sellers when you're talking about pricing strategy?
So it's always goal oriented, right? Seller, what's your goal? Do you want to make, $500,000? Is that your goal? Or do you want to sell your home quickly with multiple offers, no inspections? Like, where's your bottom line? And if their goal is to get the number that they have in their head, then that's it, right? And then it's like, okay, I've comped your house. It's great that you want to sell it for $500,000, right? What does comping mean? You look at, the data of the homes that sold around within miles, whatever. Like, I call you. I'm like, oh, but no, just kidding. Delete that. Yeah. So that's actually my least favorite. My least favorite part of this job is comping houses, but it's the most important, the data. Yeah. Okay, so rewind. Goal-oriented, goal-focused. So what do you want? They want the most amount of money. They want a number. Okay, that's fine. But realistically, this is what the data says your house will sell for. So keep this in the back of your mind. We're going to try your number, like I said, and then if not, we'll cut it. But there's also, I've been surprised too, where people offer the number, not the number that it's listed at, but somewhere, above. And that's another, I don't know, I'm going back and forth, but buyers, don't be afraid to make an offer, even if it's low, because the house might be overpriced, especially if the house is sitting there too. And then, or, what's the goal? Do you want to sell it quickly and less stress, a lot of going back and forth and getting offers? And we're going to price it a little bit under market value.
Yeah. There's a lot of different options there. Sometimes people have a financial stress and they just need to unload a property, so they're willing to take less. They value a faster settlement timeline more. Other people, hey, we don't care. We need this number. We think the house is great and we're willing to wait for it. Fine. Like it's to me, I think the agents who have the best success, and you've played this kind of in every kind of category with different sellers that you've represented over the years. Hey, we're working together. Let's come up with the strategy that you want. And let's talk about both sides of that. If it doesn't work, what are we doing? Are we just sitting here and waiting? That's never a good plan. And I think you do a good job handling that with sellers, just sort of setting an expectation.
I will say something that I am proud of in the listing side of my business, especially as we looked into more at the end of last year. Sure, there was a time that you just put a house for sale, and even if it was the worst house in the world, presented the worst way, it was just going to sell for $100,000 over asking price, no matter what. But with exception to this co-op that isn't, it's like the island of Lost, but it's finally under contract. My homes from, advertising it coming soon or active to under contract I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've gone more than 2 weeks with a house sitting. I don't think, but
yeah, no, you move them
yeah.
quick. And when we have them sitting, I mean, this is for most of the agents on our team, but I would say specifically you, whenever there's something sitting, it's just more unique,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my dad had a couple crazy analogies, but he would always say, well, some people like vanilla and some people like chocolate ice cream. And if you're selling one of those, that's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of buyers for that. But if you have like a more unique property, by definition, there's just less interest in it. And if you are a seller and you have a sort of vanilla property, but you price it more uniquely,
Right.
or the condition is more unique, either high or low, then you're going to have a different outcome. So I think you do a really good job kind of handling that discussion with them, and getting your listing sold and getting them out there.
Hey, thanks.
What about we talked about buyers, talked about sellers. What about like dealing with other agents, or even thinking back to when you first started, like a piece of advice to someone who's newer in the business, like not necessarily something that maybe something that you wish you knew that first year or those first few months, but now that you've done a lot of business, what's some advice that you would give to some new agents? I know you've done this with other agents.
I think over communicating is best. The worst you're going to do is, I don't know, kind of be annoying to be calling the agent and communicating those things. Just things with like timelines, or like, hey, home inspector's coming, even though the home inspector is going to go through the app and schedule it, whatever. Just over communicating. And I think I talked about this a little earlier, not separating yourself, your let's use energy and your feelings from the other agent, because what they are and who they are is not who you are. Because you might have, I don't know, the nicest agent on the other end, or someone a little more difficult who's been and in the industry for, 30 years, and they've never had this happening. And also the length of time you've been in the industry. Don't be scared of people who've been in it a long time. You're all equals.
Yep.
Their headshots a little
not
older.
A union position.
Yeah. You're not. No one's in a unique position.
Yeah, not a union position. You don't get paid more if you've been in for 30 years, unless you're just.
I thought you said unique position. Unique, but yeah.
Oh, unique.
Same. Yeah, like you're all the same. So not to be.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Just be yourself, and over communicating. Unless, right, here it is. Unless it's showing cards for your client that you have the fiduciary duty of protecting, and just timeline stuff.
Yeah. I think that's really important too. Like newer agents, and whether, like, we have a team, obviously, so we have other people that, we can always pick up the phone and call me, but we've already talked about we have a great group of agents, and everyone kind of helps each other out. But even if you're a solo agent, I think that's always my advice. When you get started, closed mouths don't get fed. Like, you have to be going out there, and one, you have to be on the hunt. People have to know you're in the business, like your friends, family, past contacts, and other jobs, to that you're going to attract as clients. But more importantly, in your office place, or if you're on a team, you have to talk, and you can't be shy. Like we talk about it all the time on our team. Let's make the mistakes with each other. Let's tighten everything up before we go out there public facing and like talking to the clients. If we're not sure about something, that's okay. I mean, we talked about this, probably about a year or 18 months ago. The market's still pretty hot in the suburbs, but from the time you started, there was a group of agents, four or so on our team, that started, let's say 2020 through 2022, and went 2 years and never had to do an inspection.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going through it for the first time, but even agents, those of us that started 20 years ago, we hadn't done it in 2 years. The market didn't bear it out. So, everyone kind of had to like rediscover that, and, as the market shifts, things come and go. So just that communication with everybody, I think makes your education level go up a lot faster when you're starting
for
out.
Sure. I think education is important. I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, you're never going to grow or get better if you're not learning something or immersing yourself in your office culture or your real estate culture. And you're gonna crash and burn, I think. So I guess, and that's new agents, just dive in, just do it.
Yeah, a lot of people get started for the whole idea of flexibility, and like you touched on it earlier, right? Your husband, police officer, his schedule kind of moves a little bit. You have to have flexibility, right? For your
Hmm.
family, you have to have flexibility, but you can't do nothing, right? Like
No,
can't
yeah,
do nothing as an agent. So like, yes, there's flexibility. If you want to watch TV at 10 o'clock and you don't have any clients and you want to be on Netflix for an hour, you can do that.
sure,
My wife's a teacher. She can't do that, but you could do that. You're not going to make any money doing that.
right.
You're not going to improve your skill set. So like finding a way to do that stuff, to me, the flexibility is part of the reward, right? Like you, you, you have to be available for your clients when they're available. That's what you signed up for. That's the job. But, finding time to make yourself a better agent is also part of your responsibility as an agent.
Right.
Educate
And the
yourself.
things
Yeah,
you
it's a good one.
do, what month are we in? February, March, that's going to reward itself in May, June, right? So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love, love, love watching TV, but if I just sat and watched TV all the time, that's like my Achilles heel. If I put on a show I like, it's just going to be on forever, until I finish it. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
just never.
What's our go-to TV show? What do we have right
Well,
now? What are we
I
watching?
just finished up Mobland with my husband, and that was
Okay.
good. I'm waiting for part 2 of Bridgerton to come out next week,
Okay.
and the Peaky Blinders movie. I can't wait for that.
I saw the trailer
I
today
didn't watch
for
it,
that.
so when we hang up, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
watch it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I think I'm gonna rewatch Game of Thrones for like the 5th time. But to
Okay.
do that, I have to get HBO Max. I still haven't
Okay.
renewed my thing.
All right. We'll start a GoFundMe in the comment section.
No, just get it.
Yeah. All right, you gave a lot of good tips. Everyone who's on here from our team, I do like to talk about. I know you don't know any different because you started fresh with us out of the business, but just from your observations, you do know a lot of agents, so you have a different perspective than a lot of people. Some of the what would you say about some of the good things about being on a team, some of the challenges about being on a team, and working through that, and how that looks for agents who are just getting started in the business if they're examining that route.
I think what is most important, and I think I lucked out actually. I really just listened to what Devin had to say. And then I think when I had my interview with you, I was on vacation with my family. And I think we talked for way too long than what my vacation with my family should have been.
Yeah, we're chatting back. Right.
But I think it's important to not think of it as a job interview in the traditional sense where the person, so the team leader or the boss, is interviewing you, but to sit more as the interviewer when you're, interviewing brokerages, teams, whatever it may be. What are they going to do for you? Right? Because
Yep.
you're an independent contractor, so you're free to go and do whatever you want. But what's the team going to give you? Some teams don't
Yep.
give leads, right? Some teams just don't give any trainings, don't give any opportunity.
Yep.
So I've heard, I don't really know. You want to be comfortable with your team leader, who is the more seasoned agent, so to speak. They started the team, and ask them questions, because if you're embarrassed to ask your team leader questions or your sales manager questions, you're in the wrong place. Not that there's anything wrong with that team leader or that sales manager. It's just if you're not comfortable with them, that's a dynamic that you kind of have to explore who you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's my biggest tip.
I think that's great. And you have been since the beginning. And like I said, you started, everyone on the team has some connection, but since the beginning, you've always been a great team player. I can't thank you enough for that. You know that, you know how I feel about you. I say that all the time, but like, I can't thank you enough for that. And you're always welcoming as we brought on new people. You've helped out with them when you knew, hey, I'm strong in this area, I can help you. When you need help with something and you see somebody else like, oh, they're doing pretty good with that, you don't have any ego about it. Like, hey, how'd you do that? Like don't be afraid. Like, it goes back to don't being afraid to ask. And it's been great having you on the team. Obviously,
thanks. Yeah, you're going to have people that are better. Like Michelle is really great with contracts and all the knowledge there, and she helped me learn. And I still have, anytime I have a question, and it's not like, it's always just validation, right? I'm looking for, am I crazy? Did I dream this up? I'm like, Michelle, and I think, and you, I'm like, tell me, is am I crazy? And they're, no,
Yeah.
usually I'm not, but sometimes
Yeah.
she
No,
knows it
that's part
like
of
the
it.
back of her
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah. And being able to bounce that off of, to me, that's when I started, I was a solo agent. I had some early mentors that helped, but some were more impactful than others, right? When you have like a mentor system in an office, and I had some early managers that were pretty good for me. But as an agent getting started, I think having your go-to people. I mean, we've even seen this in our office. Like some people have come on and they, even though they're maybe you're not on the team, they sort of latch to people that, Anne does a great job managing her office. They give them a good mentor and they go. And other people, they get here and maybe it's not the right fit, or like, holy shit, this is tough. You're working, like you said, you're working kind of 2 months in advance. So what's your financial picture look like? Like you have to have that open line of communication. Right. I think whether you're a team or solo agent.
And I think
sure,
you have to, especially like when you're brand new, whether you're switching industries or careers, or you've just learned at 18 and your mom supported you to go and get your real estate license, to not waste time. Like, just dive in. Maybe you need a week or two to observe and see how things are done, but just both feet in the pool, just dive, or head first, just go in and give it 100%. Because if you give it 50%, you're only going to get 50%.
Yeah. For I mean, and for us, like I kind of joke around and say, like, you just have to get in there, because look, if you mess it up, it's only all the money in the world and someone's shelter. So no pressure.
Yeah, no big deal.
No,
no big deal.
No pressure. But we're all here. It's just, you just pick up the phone call, right?
Right.
Yeah. How about share a little bit more about yourself? I mean, I know you super well, but just for the millions and millions of listeners, a little bit about some stuff you do outside of real estate, your family, where you like to go, local spots you like to hit, and a little bit more about you personally. Just let people know who you are.
I just found myself with a lot more free time, so I am looking to fill it. So if anyone has any suggestions, let me know. I thought I would start a YouTube channel where I could go travel internationally to view houses and how other people live and like old buildings, so that it would complement real estate and I could use my business to pay for my international travel, because I really love to travel. It's been a little bit since I've gone anywhere, but I think my last international trip was way too long ago. But I love going to the beach. I have two daughters. One is 9 and one is 15. They both cheerlead. One is in high school for cosmetology, which I'm very excited for her to graduate and start doing my hair and nails and all the good things. I do races, actually. I do triathlons. There's one I do every year, standard, and I actually only did that one last year. But this year I signed up for a half Ironman in September. So that means more triathlons in the summer in my future. If you don't know what a half Ironman is, it is, I think it's a 2-mile swim, a 50-some mile bike ride, and then a half marathon run at the end. And I don't do these to place. I'm not fast. I just do them because I actually enjoy them. And it also gives you mini goals too. I got to go to the gym today, because if I don't go to the gym, I can't run, and I'll fail this goal. I love karaoke and singing. I love going to the Dutch. Shout out to the Dutch, the best bar in Skippack, actually in Montgomery County. The greatest bartenders. Their food is actually really good too. And they have karaoke on Friday nights. And I like to sing The Little Mermaid, Part of Your World. It's a sneak song. If you guys are into singing karaoke, you will be surprised how many people love it. I think, I don't know, what else do I like to do?
Skippack. You're all things Skippack.
I love Skippack.
Skippack.
I actually, when I was looking to buy houses with my husband, we were looking to stay in the North Bend School District. We toured, my real estate agent probably, like now I'm like, oh my God, that guy like hated us. He didn't hate us, but we were those buyers that saw a million houses and hated every single one we saw. And then I looked outside of North Bend School District I was probably Zillow, and I found this house that I live in now. And I was like, let's go see this. And we saw this house, and then actually one in your neighborhood on the same day. And we ended up settling on this house. And I never knew I would have loved living in Skippack Village because I really didn't know that it existed. It always felt, I think it made a little bit of a turn because it was kind of, I don't know how to say this in a nice, politically correct way, but like an older village, like older people walking around. But I think it definitely made a turn over into the, 30 to, I don't know, 30 to 60. I'd hang out with 60-year-olds, sing karaoke with them. But I don't get to go out as much as I would like to. I love the Parc Bistro, has the best French onion soup and Caesar salad. And they have a really good red sangria and the best bartenders there too. The Skippack Hope Chest is my favorite boutique, as well as Hazel Mac. I buy like 90% of my wardrobe there. And I go in there, by the way, in a panic, and I'm like, I have nothing to wear. And they outfit me all the time. Yeah.
They take care of you.
It's just, I love the village. It's great.
Yep. Skippack, underrated. Underrated for those of you who don't know.
PV School District, by the way, is also great. And for those of you that are striking out in North Penn School District, take a look at Souderton and PV. And PV, there will be no homes to buy, because I think every time I look at the real estate report cards, it's always the lowest in those areas that we serve.
Yeah.
Real low.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll help you buy it.
Well, we'll wrap up. Listen, I said this earlier, you are one of my favorite people in real estate. I'm so glad that we became friends and you joined our team. Glad you interviewed me and thought that I was okay. And I think for people who are looking for an agent that can be, flexible and meet you where you're at, I think you bring that skill to the table better than 99% of agents. You're great at meeting them where they're at, and give Laura a call. All our information will be in the notes or description below.
Great. Yeah. Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks for checking out Know Your People. If you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor. Follow or subscribe on your favorite platform. Leave a quick rating and tell a friend to check us out. You can find us on social media at Bob Kelly Team across all platforms. And if you want to connect with our team or today's guest, the info is in the description below. Go show some love.